don't do that. Right, okie dokie. Here we go. Here's the league table. And as you can see, Mr. Nixon had another stellar week. He leads the prediction league with 48 points. He got 16 points last week. Then it's Steph Sale. He got 10 last week. He's on 43. Then Earl Crabtree. He's on 36. Then it's me. I got 11 last week. I'm on 35. And the non-members, the members, and Joel, they also got 10 points on the week. So that is how the league table is looking. Remember, folks, if you're a non-member, on our website, www.superleagueraw.com, every Sunday, we open up the voting. It's a multiple choice. It takes you 2 minutes. Get involved, even if you're not a member. If you are a member, go to the group every Sunday night at 7 o'clock. The vote will be open for you to lodge your votes for who will win and by what score. But Mr. Nixon, congratulations. You've got off to a great start.
Can I be the second one to say, because Steph said it last week, stop the league now.
Stop the season now. Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll all come crashing down around my ears. But hell, I'm gonna take the glory for what it is at this moment in time.
Yeah.
I don't think I've quite been wooden spoonist for the last couple of years, but I'm getting a nosebleed. Let's put it one way.
You're doing very well, mate. You're doing very well. As they say, get the suntan lotion on while the sun's shining, mate. Enjoy your time.
Exactly, mate.
Good
exactly.
effort. And
no, Mr. Roach, my daughter isn't doing the predictions this year.
Yeah. Well, I think Steph's little ones are getting involved with him this year because he had a shocker last year and his form has improved dramatically. And he did threaten that they would actually do better than him. So I've got a funny feeling that the two daughters are helping him out this year. Are they, Steph?
No, it's all me. It is surprising though, because me and Greg are both had shockers last year. For us to, I mean, it's turning the tables. It's only 3 rounds in. I'm sure there's time for this to change. But I'm still ready.
I have no doubt that it will come crashing down around me.
Right. Okie dokie. Let's get into some predictions. It's that time of the night where we get into some predictions. Need to keep an eye on the clock as always. Opening fixture Thursday night, 8 o'clock. What a game! Hull FC taking on the Leigh Leopards. Hull FC, two wins from the first 3 games. Did have took that all day long. Leopards, of course, yet to be defeated this season. Denis Balmforth went off with a hamstring injury. Ed Chamberlain, he's probably, it might be back actually. It was a head injury. He could be back, but still no Jed Cartwright, Zach Hardacre out, Oliver Holmes out for Hull FC. As for Leigh, we'll take a look at the squads actually, because the squads are in, and a surprising inclusion for Leigh. Darnell McIntosh back in there at number 2. Whether he's fit enough to play, I'm sure Steph will have a chat with us in a minute with regard to that. But this should be a great game of rugby league. Hull doing better than many expected. Leigh in great form. Greg, I'll start with you because, of course, we go to Steph last because he's a Leigh fan. Your thoughts on these two teams, their form early in the season, and how you think this one will play out?
Well, I think Hull would be absolutely delighted with their start to the season. Going to Catalan and winning is not an easy thing to do, especially if you had the season you had last time around. We've criticised Hull for bringing in players who may not be in the first flush of youth, to put it, that way. They had a great win at Huddersfield. They could and maybe should have lost against Huddersfield. Huddersfield had chances to win that game to put it to bed. I think Leigh are going to be too strong. I think Leigh have had a great start to the season. I think they've been boosted and bolstered by that win at Wigan. And why not? You come away from Wigan and you're 10 feet high. I think it's going to be close for a while, but I can see Leigh coming out 18 plus on this one.
18 plus for the Leigh Leopards. A little pause here, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a little flurry. Craig Lilly, obviously a relation of Jodie, is now a 6 again member. Declan Crean, I believe that'll be 2 Ricks. He's also a 6 again member. So make sure you fill out your profile. Make sure you watch the 2 tutorials on YouTube to get the best out of the website and the app. And we would hope that you will take our invitation to be a part of the Team Talk membership in terms of you get 6 invites to the Final Whistle podcast. We'd love to have your contribution on those. Both Craig and Jodie, in fact, all 3 of them Leigh Leopards fans. So we've had a surge of Leigh Leopards fans this evening, which is fantastic. So
I've just ruined their night by predicting an 18+ win for Leigh.
Exactly. For those, again, if you've never watched Super League Raw before, Greg is the poison chalice of predictions, but not this year. He's doing well this year. He's doing well this year. Before we come to Steph, let's get into some detail in terms of, we'll go to the chat before I give mine. Earl Crabtree, Leigh, 9-17. Joel, Leigh, 9-17. Members, Leigh, 9-17. And non-members, 18+ the Leopards. Nobody is fancying Hull FC. Where are you going, Steph?
Well, I think Leigh have suffered a bit again on the injury front. You know, no Robbie Mulhern, which is going to be massive for Leigh. Only lasted 25 minutes in the game v Catalan, and a recurrence of a calf injury that saw him miss, quite a few games last season. So hopefully, fingers crossed for Robbie, it's not too bad, because he's had an outstanding start to the season, and he's integral to everything that Leigh do really well, especially in go forward, because our pack isn't the biggest, and he's probably the biggest out of the lot. So, but Owen Trout stepped up this year. He's put some really good performances in for Leigh, and he's leading from the front. I'd be very surprised if Dino McIntosh plays. We were told he was still a couple of weeks away, so I suspect this is a case of we're getting down to our squad players now in terms of the injury front. But we should see David Armstrong return, because that was just a sickness bug that saw him ruled out for the Catalan game. Tutavaki could also be a doubt, because he had an ankle sprain. So again, if we've not got him and Mulhern, that's a lot of our go forward gone against what is a big physical FC pack. But again, the mentality at Leigh this season is next man up. So Lewis Brogan had a really good game against Catalan. Maybe it's time for Andrew Bradrock to maybe make an appearance in the second row in this game. He's someone I'm really excited to see, based on his pre-season. Scored a great try against Warrington as well in pre-season. So it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be closer than what people think. It's been a short turnaround for Leigh. But I'm still going to go Leigh
9-17, says Steph. I mean, look, I'll just go on this. I mean, Robbie Mulhern been exceptional for the Leigh Leopards. We've lost the legend, the Leigh legend, because I would put him in that status actually. Tom Amon, absolute legend of a player. Love watching Tom. Now it's time for Aaron Penne, Alec Tutavaki. This is a big moment for the Leigh Leopards, because they've been so reliant, and Owen Trout, so reliant on Mulhern and Amon, and we know how devastating they were. Yeah, it's now time to step up, boys, and show that you're capable of pushing the club forward. And I wish you well with that. I think FC, don't get me wrong, I think FC will come into this with confidence. It was a scratchy win against Huddersfield, but it's still 2 wins from 3. I think Caesar's in good form. They've got the quality. Erman SASA, he was in Team of the Week this week. We know he's got the punching power down the middle. It's a close one. It is a close one for me. Before I give mine, let's go into the chat. Mark Hill's with us. You missed on final whistle, Mark. Hope you're well, mate. Dawn Baker, Leigh 18+. Dawn Kirkby going the same. Craig Forth 9-17 to Leigh 18+. Mark Hill, Ryan Birch, Leigh 9-17. Have we got anybody in the chat going Hull FC? Of course we've not, because Ian's not there. Let's have a quick look. Aidan, no, Aidan's no. I'm not saying what Aidan's put in there. No, so nobody's fancying. Hang on, Andy Bibby's gone Hull 1-8. So there you go, Andy Bibby showing a bit of love for them. Right, okay. I'm going to go. Actually, I've not even wrote it down. Not even while I'm looking at it, because of the pack. I'm going to go 9-17. Leigh. I still think they've got enough quality. I think they're more consistent. So yeah, I'm going to go Leigh 9-17. It would have been 18+. Had Mulhern in there, I have to say, but he's not. So I'm going to just temper it down a little bit. I'm going to go 9-17, the Leigh Leopards. But hey, Thursday night rugby league. It's the curtain raiser to the round. Beautiful. Oh yes, the group chat will be lively. Come on, loving it. And I'll tell you what, if you're excited about that, you're going to be excited about this one. What a game on Friday night at 8 o'clock. 2 unbeaten sides going toe-to-toe for our enjoyment and entertainment. Oh, yes, Super League will be the winner at the totally wicked Stadium. Morgan Knowles set to return. Of course, Dolphins bound. We wish Morgan well. He started the season in the first 2 rounds very strongly indeed. And actually, Willie Peters hinting that maybe May and Lewis could be fit to return. That'd be harsh on Richardson. I would certainly, if there are a risk there, I'd only be putting one of them in. I hope they're not rushing Mikey Lewis back too soon. Minchella's a doubt. We know that Martin is out. So, this is really, really interesting. I mean, one thing's for certain. After this weekend, nobody's going to be saying Saints haven't faced anyone. I thought Wakey was a really good challenge, and they came through it well. This, though, is a real pinch point now for Saints. If they can get the better of Hull KR in this one, I think people will know that. I think Saints look already as if they've improved. It's if they can keep those centre players, those big units in the middle fit. If they do, they've got the backs to trouble anybody in Super League this season. Right, Steph, I'll start with you this time because I started with Greg last time. Saints, Hull KR. Ooh, what a game.
Yeah, definitely the tie of the round, this one for me. Under the Friday night lights at the Totally Wicked, it's going to be a battle of all battles, this one. Two sides. I'd probably say Saints have been slightly more impressive than KR so far this season. That's not to take anything away from KR. They've done what they've needed to do and had quite a bit of adversity as well. So I think it's going to be a real end-to-end tussle. They match up so well together. The players. Obviously, they'll be missing Evolds at fullback, so I think that's going to be a big loss for them in a key position. Will Mikey Lewis come back? Will Richardson keep his place? I mean, the story's there for Richardson going back to his former club, isn't it? So I'd be half tempted to leave him because we all know. Yeah, he played well enough to keep his place, but also there's that little X factor of going back to the club that got rid of you off the back of a really good performance. You wouldn't put it past him to back it up again. It is the toughest test Saints have had this season. I think it's going to tell us a lot about Saints this game in terms of are they the real deal. It was one up playing Wakefield at Wakefield from what they'd faced previously. This is a whole new level. This is the top of the league kind of intensity. And KR are not going to give up their unbeaten run, and neither are Saints. And one of them is going to lose it unless we get a draw. So that's why it's going to be such enthralling viewing on Friday night. I think there's going to be a huge Hull KR following for this one. I think they're going to pretty much sell that away, and especially if they've got the fun bus on, the £1 bus from KR again.
Let's ask Dawn. Dawn, is the fun bus on? Get in the chat. Have we got the fun bus this weekend? Carry on, Steph.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be, because that means a lot to KR. That away support last year was phenomenal, and probably got them over the line in a few games. And if the fun bus is on, and if that KR support is on song, I'm going to bag him to get over the line and just do it. And it could even be a golden point to this one, but I'm going to go KR.
I think you've just took Greg's favourite quote out of his mouth, because I was expecting Greg to actually to go down that line. He likes a golden point, does Mr. Nixon.
I love a golden point.
He loves the golden point.
Before we come to you, mate, but I love it.
Before we come to you, mate, let's go into the others. Earl Crabtree, he's gone Saints 1-8, so he's there. He's doing that. Joel, he's gone Saints 1-8 as well. The members, they're seeing the Robins 1-8. The non-members, they're seeing the Robins 1-8. Interesting. Greg, let's not forget, there's something riding on this for Saints. Who can forget the 42 points to 6 in round 23 last season that Hull KR on them? Saints will be wanting blood in this one.
They will. And no doubt that's been in the back of the mind, and no doubt that video has been replayed after training most days this week. I think what a lot of people forget is that early doors last season, Saints were top and Saints were playing well. And then, I don't know if anybody knows, but they got a few injuries and they kind of slid down the table. Once they got those players back, they could have got to the grand final. They were very, very unlucky to lose to Warrington. I think they'll play Richardson because they've lost Martin. They haven't got a goal kicker, especially if Mikey Lewis doesn't play. So I think Richardson will play this week. I know I said different last week, but I think Richardson will play. He was superb with the boot last week. They'll miss Evolds. They will miss Evolds. And I think this is going to be a real tough game, a fantastic game, a great advert for the sport. Saints 128, and it could very well be a golden point.
Yeah. It should be a great game. Let's go into the chat. Aidan Simpson, Saints 128. He's looking forward to it. Freddie McGilver, KR 128. Dave Sale, Saints 128. Good evening, Dave. Phil Webster, he's been in the chat all night. 128. KR is saying Phil. Saints 128. Home advantage. Saints Nick Shep, Andy Bevan, KR 128. Oh, I tell you what. I mean, it's like Humpty Dumpty, which way you're going to fall. It's such a tight one, this one. 9-17, the Leopards, says Paul Fail. There's 9-17, the Leopards. We've done that one. Where are we going at, Paul? Craig 4.
It might be on delay.
Hey?
It might be on.
It might be on a delay. He's over in Vancouver. Yeah, that's true. KR 128. William Webster, KR 128. Alex Sharp 9-17. The Saints. Bazza's saying he's nervous. Ryan Birch going Saints 9-17. Minicello has been past fit. That's a bonus for KR. Thanks for that, Phil. Adam Walsh, Saints 128. I mean, this is a real seesaw. It really is. Yeah, I mean, they're all going one way or the other. Wonderful stuff. Deb Hasty. Hasty.
Hey, no, hasty like tasty.
Hasty.
Yeah.
Not hasty like pasty, hasty like tasty.
Hasty.
Hasty.
Yeah. Deb. They are Deb. Good evening, Deb. Deb has Deb's in the chat as well, saying that surely Mikey can't be fully fit at this stage. Sorry, KR fans. I'm going Saints 9-17. I think Saints, as long as they're fully fit, and they are fully fit at the minute, I think they look okay. Long term, it's going to be about injuries in that middle unit. That's the key to Saints Helens season for me. But at this moment in time, they're fully fit. KR have had a couple of injuries hit him. They've also had harder battles. They haven't hit the straps yet. What we know about Saints at the moment is in attacking phases, they've got the play sorted out. They look a different attacking side under Leigh Breers at the Saints. So I just think, based on when this is going to be, the fact that it's at the Totally Wicked, I'm backing the Saints. I think this is going to be, and Baz is saying it's a big call. It is a big call. I'm looking at my position currently in the league, Bazza. I won't worry. Anyway, there you go. That's where I am.
Do you think they'll play Hiku at fullback?
Possibly. I mean, Danny Richardson's played there before now. So if they are bringing the likes of Lewis back, it's just going to be interesting.
Yeah, if they bring May, if May,
I think Broadbent would be the one to drop back. I think it'd be Broadbent. I think Broadbent would be the one to drop back, if I'm being honest. But it should be a great game. And I, for one, let me tell you now, ladies and gentlemen, I have got quite a few brew dogs in the fridge waiting for that one on Friday. I'm going to enjoy myself. Don't you worry about that. I might not be making much sense at the end of the night in the chat, but I will fully enjoy that particular game. Right, Friday, 8 o'clock, Castleford Tigers taking on the Red Devils. And straight away, Mark Hill has gone in the chat, 50 plus. Before we start debating this, they're under measures. We're not going there. We've given far too much time to Salford and what's going on in terms of, let's be fair, it is a bag of spanners, what's going on there. But if they played the team that went up against the Midland Hurricanes, against Castleford, let me explain to you what that team was. The team that faced the Hurricanes was this: Briley at fullback, Cross and McDonald on the wings, Masters and Hankinson in centre. Nicarima, of course, won't be there, but he played that day, but he won't be there. Atkin in the halves. Singleton, Morgan and Ormonroyd in the front row. Channon Wright, second row. Shorrocks was loose forward. He won't be there. We know that. And on the bench was Foster, Sangari, Bullock and Connell. Is that good enough a side, Greg, to go to Castleford and win? Because that could be the team, a couple of changes here and there, but that could be the team that faced Cass. And on that basis, if that was the team that was picked to take on Cass that would fit that criteria, over to you, mate.
The backs certainly have got some pedigree.
Yeah.
I just think there's a massive cloud sitting over Salford at this moment in time. I don't think I think it's more to do with kind of not confidence, not ability. I just think it's a kind of attitude problem they have at this minute. There's rumours about them not being paid. There's the RFL are clamping down on them and capping the amount of the players that can play. Yes, it is capable. Going back to your question, I just don't think they will. I don't think they can. And I'm going for a big win for Castleford. A big-ish win. I'm going 9-17 for Castleford. I think that team that you just said will put up a good fight, but I think Castleford will just have too much for them.
Fair enough. Become a member. The QR code is in the top left-hand corner of the screen. I think that's mentioned number 27 and well below the threshold. Right.
26, Dave, I'm counting.
Right, good man. Keep the tally chart going, Greg. Keep it going. Cass 1-8, says Earl Crabtree. Joel has gone Cass 1-8. Interesting that. I think they probably felt it might have been fully strength, but hey, there you go. That's the chance you take. Members, Cass 9-17. Non-members, they have gone the Tigers 1-8. Steph, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, if Salford put their reserves out like they did against Saints, then I'd fully expect Cass to put a big score on them. I don't think it'd be quite what Saints did to them because Cass aren't nowhere near as good as St Helens, and I think their reserves would do a better job at Castleford than they did at Saints. But it would still be a pretty decent scoreline. I think they're more than likely. I don't think they're going to make that mistake again, just for their own embarrassment, whether they want to prove a point or not. I think they're more than likely going to go with the squad similar to what faced the Hurricanes. And as you said there, Dave, that team on paper is not a bad side. And Castleford are not a club who are setting the world alight at the moment either. So if it is that squad that goes there, hopefully they've got a bit of a world against us mentality like we've been asking for all season off them. It can get embarrassing, for a club when they're putting in those types of performances, and those players won't want to go there and be on the end of another good hiding. I'm going to give Salford the rub of the green on this one, and I'm going to say they're going to go there with a better attitude. They're going to want to make a point. And also players who are playing, they all believe that the situation is going to be resolved imminently. These players, the squad players, are ones that are playing for first team places, so they're going to want to put a performance in front of Paul Rowley and push for their places. Likewise, Castleford have had some really decent performances this season, but they've also had some atrocious ones themselves. So, yes, they're at home. I think it's going to be a Cass win, but I just get a feeling it's going to be a lot closer than what people think this one, and I've gone Cass 1-8. You
have gone Cass 1-8. Right, let's get into the chat. Castleford win easily. I'm seeing straight away off the bat there. And then I moved it. And I can't see who actually said it, which doesn't help me at all. Cass by 18 says Aidan Simpson. That's where he says Dave Sell saying that Salford is still not training. I agree with Steph. It'd be a very poor show if it wasn't a similar side that played the Hurricanes. If it's not, then I've got a lot of time for Paul. I've got a lot of time for Salford as a club. I think they've been heroic over the last 3 or 4 seasons in terms of what they produced with very limited resources. But even I have got to say that if they don't put a side as strong as that out against the Hurricanes in this one, I'm finding it very, very hard to.
Matt Timms might.
Well, he might do. I'll tell you what, he'd keep running until the death. Keep running till the death, the lad. He's a good runner by all accounts. Andy Bibby, 18 plus, says Cass. Nigel Bennett, 9-17. Cass. Dawn Baker, Cass, 9-17. A lot of love. Nobody's going Salford. Even Matt Timms is keeping his head down. That tells you everything that you need to know there. Maybe he's gone to bed early. He's got a run to practice for.
I tell you what, Dave. Hull KR away, Castleford away. Thursday night to Friday night. That's not good on the Salford fans, is it?
No, it's not. 9. Who knows? They might get 25 fans at this one. Who knows? But what we do know is they do speak. They do sing very, very loudly. So for 20 fans, so good on them. I'm going to go Cass 9-17. It's just hard to back Salford at the minute. I really do. And I have to say, Phil Webster there in the chat. Let's just go there for a giggle. Danny Maguire putting his hand up for Vegas. I mean, come on.
It is when
I saw that, I thought, is it April the 1st? I mean, come on. I mean, dearie, before you start doing anything like that, come on. Danny, lad, concentrate on the game this week. Wow. Just simply wow. Anyway, we've got a giggle at that. Well done, Phil. That's made me chuckle in the chat. Well done. Right. Talking of games, though, this should be a belter. Catalan, desperate for a win. McNamara, desperate for a win. I fear he loses this, and if he was to lose it badly, That's the end of Steve Mack. If you look at social media feeds of Catalan Dragons, their knives are out for Steve McNamara like you wouldn't believe. He not only needs a win, well, first and foremost, he needs a win. I think a win saves his job. But I actually think he needs something even better than that to just curb what's going on over there in the south of France, because at the moment he's under a lot of heat. Forgive the pun with them being called the Dragons. Steve Mack, like I say, no satire. That's a blow. Will Tavita Pangai Jr. be back with a hamstring niggle? Unlikely. We think Morg's still going to be out. That's a problem. Still no Tompkins, still no Farges. It's going to be a very similar side that faced the Leopards. And like me and Steph said in Round Unpacked, you get into the detail of that Catalan League game, they just couldn't finish. You know, defensively they were okay. They had good territory at times. They just inept at the moment of crossing the whitewash. It's as simple as that. Could that change against Leeds? Who knows? Brodie Croft could return, so he's got a decision to make. It's probably Morgan Gallen that would drop out, I would expect. I think he leaves Sinfield in there because he can put Morgan Gallen in a multitude of places. So expect perhaps more Brodie Croft to return for this one. Where am I up to? Is it you, Steph, first this time? So crack on, mate. What are you making of this game, Catalan Leeds?
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely spot on, Dave, in terms of pressure on McNamara. Kind of unthinkable for Catalan to go 4-0, isn't it? I don't think, has that happened in the Super League era? You know, that they've lost 4 games on the trot, especially at the start of the season. Leeds, slowly building Leeds. They put a decent performance in at the weekend. Again, with players out, you know, spine players, Cam Smith not playing, Brodie Croft not playing, Lockie Miller not playing, you know, but players have stepped up, a bit similar to the Leigh side. You know, Jake Connor has been really good, surprising a few people, including myself, how well he's playing, which is great to see for the Leeds fans, because I think a lot of Leeds season rests on how well Connor plays. I think he's that important to them, as that kind of game breaker style player, but also for his goal kicking as well, which we don't talk a lot about, but he's kicking goals really well, as well. Catalan likewise missing a lot of key players. When they all come back, I expect Catalans to be much improved. But you're absolutely right to say, we talked in Round Unpacked about Catalan played well against Leigh. The scoreline does not reflect how well Catalan did play, and it is just that execution. And it's a bit like the difference between Wigan and Warrington. Warrington didn't play badly for me in Vegas. It's just that execution from Wigan was just at a different level, and you take your chances, and that can be the difference in Super League. I'm expecting a big crowd for this one in Catalan. The Leeds fans will travel. I'm sure our friend Alex Sharp will be over in Perpignan because he loves it over there. It's going to be a really good game, this, I think. Two teams who are very similar at the moment, although Catalan haven't got the results. So Leeds would probably go into this slight favourites, I'd say. But I just think there's going to be a response from Catalan. I think it's going to be a really close game. I'm going Catalans just to nick it. And again, another one here that could potentially be, you know, drawing with 10 minutes to go and one team
could be game of the round. I mean, he's got all the makings. This is a real good tussle. Let's get into before we go to Greg. Let's get into what Earl said. Earl said 9-17. Girl Crabtree. Joel, he's gone Leeds 1-8.
Who did Earl say to, mate? Leeds or Cats?
Earl's gone Leeds 9-17. Joel's gone Leeds 1-8. The members have gone Leeds 9-17. The non-members have gone Catalan 1-8. They see it the way of Steph. Greg, what say you?
I've got to agree with a lot of what Steph said there. Catalan over the last couple of games, they've looked strong. They were unlucky not to beat Warrington. I think we said last week that they cut out the silly offloads and try to play the Hollywood rugby, settle it down early, get a foothold in the game, and they're a real danger. Whereas Leeds, I mean, Jake Connor for me has been a revelation this season. If he can stay fit and stay on that form and cut out that bit to his game where he wants to wind players up and he wants to give it the kind of the mouth all the time. If he can cut that out and he can stay injury free, I think he'll be a great player for Leeds this season. The backs at Leeds have been superb over the first few weeks. I think Leeds 9-17, and I don't think McNamara will go this week, but I don't think it'll do him any favours.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Let's get into the chat. Mark Hill, Catalan 1-8. Freddie McGilvey gone the way, same way. Danny Harmon the same way. Thomas Bevan, Catalan 1-8. Aidan Simpson, Leeds 9-17, and McNamara to go. Bazza, Catalan 9-17. Ryan Birch, Catalan 1-8. Craig Forth, Leeds 1-8. Alex Sharp, Catalan 9-17. Phil Webster, he's gone Cass. I think he might mean Catalan there 1-8. And Nick Shepherd, Rhinos 18+. Keep them coming in. We can't get through everybody. I believe Farge is injured. Yes, I believe he is injured. I'm going to go Leeds 9-17. I think Catalan are in a lot of trouble at the moment, and I think there's stuff going on behind the scenes we probably don't know about. I just don't know what's going on there. They've got far too much quality for them to be performing the way they are. To be 3 losses from 3. Something's not right, but they did play decent against Leigh. But I think Leeds at the moment, that win at the weekend will give them a lot of confidence, and I think they'll get the job done. Right, let's get to the next one. Wigan Warriors back from their triumphant visit to Vegas, taking on the Huddersfield Giants. Greg, you're going first this time. Your thoughts on this one? Before you come in, even Havard, we expect to be out with a hamstring. Still no Brad O'Neill. Will Tane Milne play? That's a big one. No Sam Hopewell, no Liam Sutcliffe, Clune, or George King. So other than Milne, possibly a similar squad to last week. Over to you, sir. Will there be a hangover from Vegas? Can Huddersfield get a win, or are you going the Warriors?
Will there be a hangover from Vegas? Wigan are not the type of club that allow hangovers to set in, I'm afraid. There was some talk in the chat earlier on that Wigan are going to play, going to rest a few players from Vegas. And the players are going to bring in Forber, Eckersley. The great players and hungry, eager players. I can't see Matty Pete letting them, ease up after their Vegas travels, and I see Wigan win this by 18+. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, my Huddersfield friends, but I don't think Matty Pete's the kind of coach. Wigan isn't the kind of club that allows for any sort of hangover to set in.
I do think he'll change a couple. I do think he will.
I mean, Eckersley was 18th man, which surprised me on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. You could see a Jack Eckersley coming in. You could see that. You could see Harvey Hill getting a game. Yeah, you could. You could see that happening this weekend. He won't make wholesale changes, but he might freshen it up a little bit because of the travel, and we don't know what niggles were in that game because nothing's been announced. Earl Crabtree, Wigan 9-17. Joel, Wigan 9-17. Members, Wigan 18+. Non-members, Wigan 18+. What are you saying, Steph?
Yeah, I mean, I get what people are saying about they might rest some players, but when Wigan change players, it's like when you go to your local boozer, they've changed the San Miguel for Madrid. It's not like they put Carlin on instead. So it's not really an argument for me that the squad that Wigan have got is simply phenomenal, isn't it? And every player there, when they get the chance, they take it. It's as simple as that because they know they don't come around very often in that first team squad. So I think the Huddersfield have played really well this season. The results don't do justice to how well they have performed under probably the worst injury situation of anybody in the league, I'd say, in terms of the players that they've got missing. I expect the Giants to go to Wigan and put in a really admirable performance, but the way Wigan played against Warrington, if they're even 50% of that, they're going to put 18 on Huddersfield. So I have to go, unfortunately, for my Giants friends with a convincing Wigan victory in the
Thomas
17+.
Bevan's agreeing with you. Andy Bevan's agreeing with you. Danny Harmon's going Wigan 1-8 at Vegas hangover. Aidan Simpson, Wigan 9-17. Nick Burtonwood, Wigan 18+. Pies 24+, says Andy Bibby. Kev Wall, good evening, Kev. Wigan 18+. For him, Freddie McGilvery, Wigan 9-17. Baz at Huddersfield 1-8. First win of the season. Come on, Baz. Hey, you can tell he wants a Christmas card off Joel. Ryan Birch, Wigan 9-17. Dawn Pertby, Wigan 9-17. I'm going Wigan 9-17. I'm going Wigan 9-17. I do think, and the reason I'm not going 18+, the travel, the emotion of Vegas, and a lot of respect for the great work that Luke Robinson has done in defence this year. So I do think maybe 9-17. Could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. Right, the last game of the round. We've got to be quick, boys. We've got to do Play of the Month, and we've got to do Bet Steph as well. Warrington Wolves against Wakey. Warrington, again, Vegas hangover, who knows? Wakey playing some great rugby league. We only know of Cam Scott, still not going to be there for Wakey. Seth Nicotimo, still not going to be there. And neither is Josh Griffin. The only absentees from Warrington, we don't think Leon Hayes will feature in this one. We are now in March. His return is imminent, probably mid to late, I'm thinking. And, of course, no Connor Wrench. Apart from that, it's going to be a full squad for Warrington. Steph, I'll come to you first, bring Greg in last because it's Warrington. Steph, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really good game, actually. I think Wakefield have done really well this season, probably a lot better than a lot of people would have thought they would have done. Yes, they were on the wrong result against St Helens, but we saw what they can do when they played Leeds and also when they played Hull KR. And we've just talked up about Hull KR. That was a Hull KR side that did have Mikey Lewis in it and actually won the game for them. So Wakefield are more than capable of going toe-to-toe with the top six sides in Super League. Have they got a win in them against those sides? Probably not at this stage, but we'll see as the season go on how competitive Wakefield can be. But I think they're better than what a lot of people thought they were, which is great, and it's credit to Wakefield and the squad that they've assembled this season. I think this is a really good time to get Warrington. With the travel, with their, it'll have knocked Warrington's confidence, that result, because I think Warrington would have expected to go there and compete a lot better than they did in that game with Wigan. So I do think they will be suffering from a bit of confidence. Now you could argue that's a really good opportunity, and I think we're going to see what Sam Burgess is made of as a coach in this game as well, because that will take a lot of turning around for those players to get them back up. But this is a perfect opportunity for Warrington to set a benchmark and say, actually, that wasn't reflective of who we are, how we performed in Vegas, and this is how we can play. And I think they're going to want to do it for those fans who travelled to Vegas as well. So I'm expecting a really solid Warrington performance here, and I think it's going to be a really good Wakefield one as well. I just think Warrington are going to have a little bit too much for Wakefield, and I think the Warrington team are going to want to put a real performance on here for the home fans. So I've gone Warrington 9-17. I think it'll be on the lower end of that. I think probably 10 points, maybe something like that. But I think Warrington are just going to do enough in this one.
Fantastic. Sunday afternoon. Brilliant. It's like the old days. And for you Wakefield Trinity fans who watch Super League Raw, we will be in the Bluebell, of course, the home of Super League Raw in Warrington. It's literally a 10-minute walk maximum from the ground, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, no more than that. Come and join the Super League Raw community in the Bluebell from 11 o'clock on Sunday. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to have our photograph taken with you. We'd love to debate the game pre and post game. They do a great Sunday lunch. The Sunday lunch pub of the year. That's what the Bluebell is. So you Wakey fans, if you fancy a good Sunday lunch, then why don't stick around? Go back to the Bluebell after the game. Enjoy Sunday lunch as well with Super League Raw. We'd love to have your company in there. Earl Crabtree's gone Y1-8. Joel has gone Y9-17. Members have gone Trinity 1-8. Interesting. Y9-17, the non-members. Greg, what say you?
Surely as Sunday follows Saturday, Wakefield beat Warrington. They're just one of those teams that no matter how well or how bad they are playing, they beat Warrington. Wakefield have gone 10, 15, 20 games without a win and then beat Warrington. And I'm worried about this game. When I said that Wigan don't allow hangovers to happen, as much as it hurts me to say this, Warrington can be prone to them after big games. it's been known. I think that there's rumours about that some Warrington players have missed their plane home from Vegas. How true they are, I don't know. But that's going on. That's on social media at the moment. There are certain players who have missed their flight home. So it depends what team will turn up. I hope that's just a rumour. I hope it's not true. Wakefield have played really, really well. They've lost the last 2 games, but they haven't been embarrassed. They played really well. The Saints score didn't reflect. They cost me a few points. I had Saints 18 plus. Wakefield cost me a few points on that league table. But I fear for this game, and I think Wakefield are going to win this 1-8.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. All I would say to what Greg has just said, if that is true, and Warrington players, and I've seen the rumours myself, if Warrington players have missed the flight home, Warrington have got far bigger problems than the loss to Wigan at Vegas.
Exactly.
Far bigger problems, because that's just not professional. Simple as that. So there's bigger problems at foot. If that is the case, I'll just say it as it is. That is not good form. Let's hope that that's just typical clickbait on social media.
Let's hope.
We do clickbait on social media. So I reserve judgment until I hear something from the club on that one. Right. Let's go into the chat. Y917, Thomas Bevan, Nick Shep, Wakey 1-8, Wakey 1-8, Andy Bevan, Wakey 1-8, Andy Bibby, Robert Hickson, Wire 1-8. They're all seeing it close. Dawn Baker, Wire 1-8, Ryan Birch the same. 9-17 says Freddie McGilvray, Wire 9-17, Aidan Simpson. Steve Cartley, he's gone Wakey 1-8. Another Warrington fan, he's not fancying it. Dawn Kirkby 1-8, Wakey, she's fancying a bit of Waker. Debs is back in from Castleford, Wire 1-8. Oh, there's a lot of split on this one. I'm going to back the Wire 1-8. I do think it will be close. Fantastic stuff, boys. Wonderful, wonderful. Right, we're now going to announce. Actually, before we announce, we're going to go and do this. My apologies. It's our time for this.
Are you sick and tired of winning your bets every week? Want to contribute to the bookies' Christmas party? The bets to ignore when predicting the score. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Bet Steph.
Over to you, Mr. Sale.
Yeah, so just a fivefold this week. Bet365 not giving us odds on the Salford game again, unfortunately, because we do not know which Salford team will be playing. So rightly so, they've not give us any odds on that fixture. So first up, we've got Leigh minus 6.5. I think given Leigh's form at the start of this season, I think that's quite a generous handicap to give to Leigh, minus 6.5. I'd hope Leigh would have enough to overcome that one, but who knows? But it's not a massive one to overcome that, so I just fancy Leigh to be able to get just over the 6.5 on that one. Hull KR plus 7.5. Given that this is an unbeaten side, yes, they're going to St Helens who are unbeaten, but for me, 2 very, very close teams. Like I said earlier on, could even be golden point this one. So I think to give KR a 7.5 over a converted try start in this one, I think it's very generous from the bookies. Maybe they're expecting Mikey Lewis still not to be available and Evans and whatnot, why they're giving them so generous, but I still fancy Hull KR plus 7.5. Catalan Dragons minus 2.5. This is probably the dodgy one for me in this bet. Could go either way. If Catalan turn up, yes, they could overcome that by 1 try. But if Leeds from last week come in, then they're not going to get anywhere near. I had to go one way or the other. I've backed Catalan minus 2.5. Another one what I think is quite generous, Wakefield plus 14.5. Given the fact that Warrington have been in Vegas and stuff, I think, and how well Wakefield have performed this season, 14.5 is quite a big start considering the players and the strike that we know Wakefield have got. They can score tries, Wakefield. So for Saints to be 3 scores ahead of them, I think it's quite a tough ask. So I have back Wakefield plus 14.5, and Wigan minus 18.5. Again, a few people are probably raising their eyebrows at that, but if they're anywhere near what they did to Warrington in Vegas, they'll overcome that minus 18.5 handicap. So that's my fivefold for this week. The return on that one is so if you bet £1, 26.561. But if you put a quid on
you're
that,
going to lose £1, Steph. You're going to lose £1. We don't condone betting here at Super League Raw. You know that. But yeah, great stuff as always, mate. Very, very good indeed. Right. Okay. It's that time now. We're going to announce the Super League Raw Player of the Month. It was, of course, from the Team of the Month. This was that team. One of the 1 to 13 are going to be our Player of the Month. Chaps, whilst people are getting in the chat, go on, get in there, get in the chat. Who would yours be? Steph and Greg, I'm going to come to you. So, Greg, first and foremost, of those 1 to 13ers, who is your Player of the Month?
I'm going to go for Welsby.
You're going for Jack Welsby.
Jack Welsby.
Of
yeah.
St. Helens. Right,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Steph?
It's a difficult one, this. Very difficult. I'm going to say
You're going Ethan O'Neill. Good lad. Paul Fail is agreeing with you there. 2 Leopards going Ethan O'Neill. What do you know? Outstanding stuff. Right, let's give a couple of shout-outs because they've started to hit the chat. Ensemba for Alex Sharp. Ensemba for Craig Forth. That's a surprise. Thomas Bevan's gone Welsby. Nige Bennett has gone Ensemba. Bazza has gone Ensemba all day long, he said. O'Neill for Dawn Kirkby. Phil Webster's gone Marshall. Aidan Simpson's gone Ensemba. Andy Bevan has gone Ensemba. This is who Super League Raw have decided to go with. Let's find out. So that might surprise a few people, but it's been decided that the February Player of the Month is going to be Harry Robertson. There's reasons for this. 1, his age. 2, centre. Nobody saw that coming at all. He's the joint top try scorer in Super League, this kid. You know, we've raved about Junior Ensemba for years, and don't get me wrong, there's arguments for everybody that people have said, O'Neill, Ensemba, Welsby, absolutely. But this kid, this is his breakout year. For him to have done in the first 3 rounds what he has done, cement a position in centre, deputising for Conrad Hull, who has got no chance of getting back in based on this kid's form. This is very, very reminiscent of what we saw Hanley do at Leigh. You know, we've seen Leon Hayes do at Warrington before he got injured with Drinkwater last year. Robertson has seized an opportunity and he's nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Baz is saying it's an anticlimax. It ain't, mate. This kid is class. And what he has done deserves respect. Welsby's done what we know Welsby's capable of, and he's been exceptional. And Semba, exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. But for this kid to have done what he's done in the opening 3 rounds, I just wanted to take my hat off to him. Because for anybody who's played this sport, to do it at his tender age, to come up against seasoned pros, and pretty much school him. Gentlemen, I'm going to stand on this one. Harry Robertson has been unbelievable in the opening 3 rounds.
Yeah, he has. He's been fantastic. I would have been tempted with Ensemba, but he's still in Ethan O'Neill's pocket from round 1, so he couldn't have got in for that. But no, in all seriousness, Robertson's been a revelation since moving to centre. He played really well at fullback at Leigh last season, a game that I was at, and I thought he was absolutely. I think he scored the only try Saints scored in that game. Made a great break. He didn't score it. He made the break and then put a kick through. But yeah, what a talent! And I think Welsby moving back to fullback has probably benefited him because he's ousted Conrad. Like you rightly say, Hurrell's got no chance of getting back in this side. This kid's been brilliant, and at Wakefield he was absolutely outstanding. But to score 5 tries in 3 games, that just shows what a good player he is. But also the amount of carries he's doing there, the amount of meters he's making, the amount of tackle busts he's making, and for a young lad to step up and do that against some big names in that Saints team as well, and to be a standout player in a Saints team is saying something, isn't it? And especially a Saints team that are playing so well this season. So I think it's a great pick and one probably a lot of other people.
We get into the details, Steph. Very mindful of the time, Mr. Nixon.
Yeah, just a quick one. I went for Wellesby because I thought Robertson had made a few errors in some of the games. But now he's won this. Maybe somebody can afford to buy him a skull cap that fits him, because he spent most of the game against Wakefield adjusting his skull cap and trying to make it fit. But you know what? Looking at those statistics, fair play to him. He has made a couple of errors. Not costly errors.
Not costly, and let's remember his age. I do apologise. I don't want to cut across you, Greg, but we've literally got 2 minutes. So we've got to go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is another Super League Raw Weekly in the bag. Don't forget, Captain's Run is back on Thursday at 6 o'clock. From all of us here to you, thanks for joining us. Here's the top performers. We'll see you next week. Here are your top performers after 3 rounds of the Betfred Super League. The top try scorer is Harry Robertson of the Saints with a magnificent 5. The most try assists have come from his fullback, Jack Wellesby. He's got 9. Whilst the most meters made up to now are by Liam Marshall of the Wigan Warriors with 625. The most clean breaks have come from Joe Burgess, Harry Robertson and Nene McDonald with 5. Whilst the top tackler is Leroy Cudjoe of Huddersfield Giants with 135. The most tackle busts have come from Junior Nsemba, 23. Whilst the most hard meters, you've got to be a prop forward second row. All loose forward for this one is Alex Walmsley of St Helens with 546. The most offloads have come from that man Herman SASA once more with 10. Whilst the most goals kicked thus far this season are by Mark Percival of the Saints with 21. These are your top performers after 3 rounds of the Betfred Super League.